Alright guys, we covered the installation of the Active Directory domain services and DNS rules to our server via the server manager. What I would like to do now is install those two rules, but this time using the OB or out-of-box experience or initial configuration task GUI. So what I did is reverted the virtual machine to a previous configuration. What I've been doing is taking snapshots of the virtual machine at various stages throughout this series. So here I have the bare VM, the bare virtual machine with the server OS, the bare server with the guest edition installs, and the server with the Active Directory domain services and DNS installed. So what I did is basically I highlighted bare server with additions, and I highlighted, well, at that point in time, since it's already at this particular point or this current state, this option was available, restore snapshots, and I simply restored it to an earlier state. One more thing I want to point out, if you notice, I have 4 virtual machines running: the Server08 DC1, the Vista PC, 7 PC, and I made a clone of the original Server08 DC1. You notice that I have all 4 machines running at this point in time. Please note that for each machine, Server08 DC1 is using 512 megabytes of memory. Vista PC is also using 512. Win 7 PC is also using 512, and the clone is using 512. What that means is that at present I have taken away 2 gigabytes of memory from my host machine. Right, so at present my host machine is running on 1 gigabyte of memory. If I were to start up the XP PC, that will take away 192 megabytes of memory from the host machine. Just highlighting that because earlier I didn't point out that when you're allocating memory to your virtual machines, that you must be cognizant of the amount of memory that is available to your host machine. So let's get to the installation of the Active Directory domain services via the OB interface. Pretty straightforward. We're going through the same process again. We're changing the computer name to something that's more human friendly. We're prompted to enter the role that the machine is going to perform. So like before, enter the name of the main controller. We're also going to change the name, Server08-DC1. We say OK. Of course, we're going to have to restart the machine for the changes to take effect. We say apply. We'll just restart the machine. Once it's restarted, we'll continue the process. Okay, so our machine has restarted. As you can see, computer name has changed. What we need to do next is give our server a static IP address, and as you can see, it's currently assigned by DHCP. If we were to go to the command prompt, you can use DNS tool. We could say IP config and see what is the current DHCP assigned address. The IPv4 address, as we see, is 10.0.2.15. What we're going to do is be giving it a static IP address. So we can do, go to configure networking, select the local area connection, right click, go to properties. We also want to deselect IPv6 because we're not going to be using that. We highlight the Internet Protocol version 4, TCP IP version 4. We click on properties. We say use the following IP address, and we give it the address we had earlier, 192.168.0.5. The subnet mask will be filled in automatically. Yep, we're using the loopback address 27.0.0.1. I'm going to enter the default gateway 192.168.0.1. I say OK, and I'm going to close. And we're going to close this. Right, so we now have a static IP address. If we were to run the IP config again, you see we got a different result. IP config, and you will notice that the information that we entered now appears. IP4 address now reflects the address that we give it, and the default gateway is now listed. Alright, so now that we have done that, what we're going to do next is add roles. So we go to add roles, and the wizard pops up. We say next. We highlight the Active Directory domain services. We say next. We say next. We say install. Now we have been through all of this already, so what I'm going to do is pause now, and when the Active Directory domain services have been installed, we're going to run DC promo and promote our server to domain controller. As we can see, the Active Directory domain services has been successfully installed. So all we do now is run DC promo. We click on DC promo, the wizard comes up. Use the advanced mode installation, and we just go next, next. We're creating a new domain and a new forest. Next, fully qualified domain name. Just running through this very quickly because we did this already. Just showing you how it's done. We go next, walker.com. It's going to check, make sure that the name doesn't already exists, and it's going to create the new domain. Alright, see, we say next. We have to select the functional level. We say 2008. We say next. Alright, it's gonna install the additional role of DNS server with the domain controller. Say yes. It gives us where the database log files and sysvol folders are going to be stored. We say next, and we give it a password. Provide an administrative password. Get an error there. Realize it's too short. Alright, so everything should be good now. We have the summary. I'm exporting the settings, and giving the file a name, domain controller on a 10. I say save. Gives me the part where it's going to be stored. I say OK. I say next, and the installation of the DNS role begins. And it's going to I highlight reboot on completion. Since we did all this already, we're going to pause, just jump back in when everything is done.